Welcome to The Lazy Girl Library, the podcast where reading is a pleasure and captivating adventures happen from the comfort of your couch. I'm your host, Darby.
And I'm Michaela.
And if you've ever spent more time rearranging your bookshelf than your priorities, then you, my friend, are in the right place.
Happy holidays!
Happy holidays!
Hi, Darby.
Hi, Michaela.
Welcome back, listeners. Episode 15.
The last one of the year. This is crazy.
We made it a full year of Lazy Girl Library. That's just wild.
I'm emotional.
We've talked about doing this for so long, so the fact that we already now have a year under our belt, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I know it might not seem like a lot to all the podcasters out there, but 15 episodes was a lot for us.
It was.
So.
Being newbies and trying to figure this out all on our own, this was big. This was a big check mark for 2024 for us. So
I love it.
Super exciting.
Can't wait to see what 2025 has in store.
Yes.
But welcome back in for today. Let's do a little life check-in. What's your 5-star and 1-star?
Oh, preparing for this episode, I did everything but think about that. Let's see. I always like to start with the negative. My 1-star will probably be just the holiday craziness, trying to come up with so many gifts because I have a small family. But Josh comes from a bigger family, not huge, but like bigger than mine. And so trying to find out Christmas gifts, not only for my family, but for his family. And then plus they have a lot of December birthdays. So it's like double the gifts that you're trying to think of for these people has been crazy. Josh and I spent all of the weekend racking our brains, running around everywhere, trying to figure out what the heck we're getting everybody.
Yeah.
But I guess the 5-star would be that we did it. We accomplished it.
Yay.
All Christmas shopping is done. No last minute Christmas shopping
I wish
this
I could
year.
say the same.
So we've done it. It's finished, and now I can just relax a little bit and enjoy the season.
I feel like you are probably always someone that gets their Christmas shopping done early.
I try to have it done by Black Friday.
That's crazy.
Just because, like, budgeting and
I
things.
started on Black Friday and was like, this is so early. And I'm not done yet.
I try to at least have an idea before Black Friday because obviously Black Friday, Cyber Monday is when I try to do most of my shopping for all the deals. And then whatever stragglers I have left, I'll kind of figure out that second week of December. But really, I'm pretty good about getting it done early. This year, however, was not.
Well, you are getting married and doing lots of stuff, so I think that's okay.
Giving myself grace, but we did figure it out. So yeah, I think that would be my 5-star and 1-star. What about you, Darby?
1-star, maybe the fact that Christmas is next week, and I feel like I haven't even done any, like, Christmas stuff. Well, I've done some Christmas stuff, but, like, Justin and I normally go on a Christmas date, and we, like, haven't done that yet, and so I'm just feeling a little rushed.
This year.
Yeah. And I think, too, I'm super busy at work, and I'm just, like, feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
So I think that's adding to it as well, that I'm like, huh. But 5-star is there's been some good family time. So last week my mom was in town, which was really nice, especially because she hung out and I was like working from home and she was like folding my laundry and doing the dishes. So obviously I loved that. Thanks, Mom.
Love you, Mama Wilbom.
Yes. And we went shopping and like grocery shopping and it was on her. So I'm like racking up on like canned soups and like stuff that is like non-perishable because I'm like, if she's buying, I feel like I'm preparing for hurricane season.
Right.
Like, let's just get stuff.
Absolutely.
So that was really sweet. And then obviously next week with Christmas, there's going to be a lot of good family time too. So that's probably my 5 stars. It's just
that's a good
time.
one.
Thanks.
Yeah, the holiday season, I feel like it just as we get older, it gets crazier and crazier to where the time, like you said, like trying to enjoy the holiday season is so much harder now than it used to be. But it also makes you appreciate that family time so much more when you have it.
Yeah. And it's also too, it kind of puts into perspective of like, it's what you make it. So you have to be intentional about your Christmas time and like celebrating and, you know, making sure you turn your Christmas lights on or put on whatever it is that you need to feel in that spirit. Because when you're a kid, your parents were the ones who were intentional with making that for you. So now having to do it for yourself, I think too, we're still young enough that we're figuring out how to how to do it on our own.
Absolutely. Good insight. I like that.
Thank you. Feeling philosophical.
Love it. You've been in your philosophical age this year.
I hold this mic and like a new person comes out.
I love it. You've truly blossomed.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of this year, this episode, we're kind of just closing the chapter on 2024. So this is going to be our last episode for the year. We won't be gone too long. We will be picking back up here in January with our next, book topic, and we'll announce the book for January then as well.
That's great. No book talk this month or book club this month, but like Michaela said, we're going to be picking a new one for next year, and we hope that you join us on Fable for that one.
So excited. We have 2 members of our Fable, which is not a lot, but
we don't know them. They're strangers.
They're complete strangers. So shout out to, I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name, but Myrte and Carol.
We love you too.
They are 2 members on Fable that just joined, complete strangers to us, and we love them dearly. Thank you for joining. Come join the rest of us.
Joining and participating.
Yes.
Oh, I love it. Join.
Love hearing. We were all talking about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which was our last book. Mm-hmm. Love hearing everybody's thoughts. Come join us and our friends Myrte and Carol on Fable. The link will be in the description.
Yeah. It's seriously so cool though, especially because they our 2 new friends are people that we don't know, and so this
amazing. Was the best Christmas present ever.
Seriously. In this episode, we're going to be having some book and reading related topics that we're talking about in regards to like the holidays and some of our traditions to help us get into the spirit of the holiday season and recapping our 2024. So let's hop right in.
All right. So looking back on 2024, what were some standout moments in the literary space for you? Was it like a certain trend, new book release, or like a personal reading achievement? What stood out?
All of the above.
Love.
Well, I feel like, especially with this podcast, I was so much more in the know of like book trends, which was awesome. But it also felt so long because I feel like there were so many things that happened. I would say Sarah J. Maas's book release was a big one, that Third Crescent City book.
Shook the book talk world.
It really did. And once you read it, Michaela, we can actually talk about it. But
I'm sorry, everybody should note the salt in Darby's tone right there. Yes, I will get to it, I promise.
She's the only person I can talk to about this.
I know. I'm bad.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. No, it's okay. I would also say something that stood out is the tears that were shed over some of the books I read this year. So shout out to Nightingale and Addie LaRue.
Yes.
You really did one on me. I would say something else that stood out to me was the tea with Powerless in the Red Queen series, being that they were so similar. And I even just saw, I think the author's name is Victoria Avgard, something like that. Mm-hmm. She was like describing her book before she like turned it over, and it was like, if you like XYZ, and all the comments were like, it's crazy how this is also describing Powerless. Like, they're the exact same. Yes. And they're very similar. Yeah. So I just found that to be interesting since I had read both of them, and I can contribute to that discourse.
I'll be curious to read them because I know that you have highly suggested them. But I saw all the trending too when this is going out. So I'm curious to get into it.
And then my final thing that stood out was that I almost doubled what I read last year, which is insane.
You crushed it.
Thank you. This is the most books I've ever read in a year, and I'm really proud of myself. So I read 40, and I have to say, audiobooks are a huge part of that. I can whip those out, especially because for audiobooks, I really only like doing lighthearted romance books, so it's easy to digest those, and I don't have to pay too much attention to them. But yeah, I'm really proud.
Yes,
so cool.
I am so proud of you.
Last year I think I read 20 or 24 or something along those lines, which I'm still probably going to set my reading goal to 24 for next year. I'm not sure yet, maybe a little bit higher, but I don't like putting pressure on myself for the reading goal, so like 2 books a month. I'm like, that if I could do that, that's incredible.
Right.
And so the fact that I'd like almost doubled that
More.
is wild
Yes.
to me. But that was a lot of things that stood out to me in 2024. It was a big year.
I love it.
Tell me about some of the things that stood out for you.
So I had a harder time thinking of trends, but before we started recording, you did remind me I have my lavender and pine scented candle lit right now.
Smells so good. This is like the most accurate Christmas candle I've ever smelled.
It
for
is
a Christmas tree.
It smells really good. It's from Bath and Body Works. But this kind of went viral towards the beginning, kind of more fall season, I want to say, whenever they came out, Bath and Body Works came out with their Christmas candles, but everybody was like, oh my gosh, lavender and pine, that's what Rowan from Throne of Glass is described to be smell as. So like this has been dubbed the Rowan candle from Book Talk. And so of course I had to get it and try it, and it smells just like Christmas. It's fantastic.
It's so good. If this is what Rowan likes, then he might like bump up on my list a little bit more for male main characters.
Yes. So yeah, that was kind of a cool trend. Not really a book trend, but joining Fable this year has been really fun.
Oh, that's a good
This
one.
was a late start, but like obviously we've already met 2 new friends, which is so exciting.
Yes.
But even so, just like kind of getting to know a new app. I don't necessarily like it more than Goodreads. I think Goodreads tracks my books better and like my reading better than Fable does. But I appreciate a lot of the aspects that Fable has. Like the shelf view is cute, where it takes like your top 8 books and creates like a bookshelf with like different trinkets, and gives you like a type of reader style that you are based on the books, which is cute. Or how it helps you make Instagram stories for like your recap of what you read that month.
Yeah.
And like those template kind of things.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like some of the aspects of it. And obviously the book club part of it is really
It's
cool.
really easy to be collaborative on there.
So I'm really interested this like use it more in 2025. But that was a really cool find here for 2024. And then some trends that I'm kind of over. I wouldn't say over because I still love Book Talk. But part of Book Talk driving me a bit crazy. I'm tired of seeing the same things. And specifically all the Sarah J. Maas conspiracy theory TikToks.
There's so many.
As much as I am a conspiracy theorist myself, I love thinking ahead and trying to figure out what's going on and like making connections throughout books. I get tired of seeing so many and people go down such deep rabbit holes with it that I feel like if you read too much or watch too much of them, it can kind of ruin new books that are coming out, because if it doesn't meet the expectation of like what you think is going to happen, or if somebody comes out with a theory you absolutely love, but then what actually happens in the book can be like lackluster compared to what other people, I think it just kind of ruins the reading experience for you a little bit.
Yeah, I
So
get
it's
what you're
like
saying.
a fine line you walk, and I think that some people take it too far over the edge. So I'm trying to like cut those out of my For You page a little bit this year.
Well, because like the memes are funny, but yeah, I get what you're saying when it's like
Too in depth.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of the like theories. And like Sarah will tell me what's happening like eventually.
I started with them because it does make you think about certain things, but a lot of them it just got too much. So I'm just trying to like kind of cut that out a little bit.
But the memes, let's keep them going.
Oh, absolutely. The memes are hysterical. Our friend Sarah is constantly sending us like new meme TikToks with them. And so she comes across good ones.
Not to be confused with our friend / author Sarah J. Maas. This
Right.
is a different Sarah that's sending us.
A great clarification. Lastly, a personal reading achievement for me this year was I really found my groove with nonfiction audiobooks. I really did not do any audiobooks before 2024, but this podcast and you started doing the audiobooks, which
Trendsetter.
you are. I tried to do fiction, couldn't do fiction, but I really found my groove with nonfiction, and that's helped boost my reading up a little bit. Not nearly as much as you, but
It's just truly not a competition.
No,
as
it's
long as
not.
you enjoyed your reading, then that's what matters. And I'm so glad that you enjoyed it nonfiction.
thanks. So yeah, that's been good, and that's kind of like expanded a lot of my like reading horizons too, which has been nice.
That is nice.
But speaking of books that we've read this year, let's get into top 3s. So what were your top 3 books of 2024, and what were your bottom 3 books of 2024?
Okay, I will I don't know which one I want to do first. I'll do top 3. I feel like if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk about these books a lot anyway, so you're going to be able to know. The Nightingale, ripped to my heart and soul, threw it on the ground and crushed it, ran it over, and I would do it again 7,000 more times. Like, it was so good. So thank you, Kristen Hanna, for coming into my life. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, that one was just such a neat, like, fantasy concept, and especially because I've just been in, like, the romantasy world for so long that it was really nice to, like, be taken out into
fiction, but fantasy, but also, like, breath of fresh air kind of thing.
Yeah, and, like, a thinker as well. So that one was really good. Also cried. So thank you, Miss Schwab, for that. And then finally, Funny Story by Emily Henry. So last year I read almost all of the Emily Henry books, and then I finished them at the beginning of this year with Funny Story, which just came out. And gosh, she is my favorite romance girl. Abby Jimenez, talked about her a lot because I read, like, all her books this year too, but that was to replace Emily Henry, since I'd read all of hers. And yeah, no one does it like Emily Henry. Yeah, it's so good. It's just, I love her. Now my bottom 3.
Yes.
Which I've seen Michaela's notes. This is going to be funny.
It's fine.
The first one on my bottom 3 is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow.
It's okay. I understand.
Which, spoiler alert, this may or may not be Michaela's top 3. But so that's on my bottom 3. And then Worst Best Man by Lucy Score and The Housemaid. Worst Best Man was just bad.
Yeah.
Like, not even my taste
Frankie.
is different. Like, that was just bad. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I wouldn't say it was bad. Like, the story writing was good, but it's just, like, as much as I try to get into the mystery, murder, thriller, that type of genre, I just, like, can't. Or so far, it just hasn't been for me. And this one was a really popular one with a lot of people, and it still wasn't for me. So I'll keep trying, you know, for the sake of book club and book talk. But yeah, no, it just did not do it for me.
I have a good one that I read in 2023 that's almost like a fantasy, but it's more truly like mystery that I feel like we should try for 2025 to like see. And if you really don't like it, then you just truly might not be a mystery girl. But if you do, like, it might open up a new door for you.
Okay.
So
sounds like a plan.
We'll talk in the new year.
Yeah. We did have some of the same bottom 3s, though.
Yes, we
Not
did.
tomorrow, but do you want to share?
Yeah, I'll start with my bottom 3. So definitely Housemaid and Worst Best Man were in my bottom 3 too. The Housemaid, I just couldn't get past the writing. Like, the actual style of writing was like nails on a chalkboard for me. I had the DNF. It do not finish. It just was not it for me. But I do love mystery, and like I said, if you go back and listen to our book talk on that, I do enjoy the concept of it because I do love mystery and thriller. Like, I am that kind of reader. And I heard that they're going to be making it into a series. So I am going to watch that.
And the actors they picked for it, I think, are pretty spot on. Yeah. Like, I think it's going to be really good.
I think so too. So I said even in that podcast, I think that it was really meant for that. And so I will be watching. I think that it'll be really good in that way. But as a book, could not get behind it. It just was not for me. Worst Best Man, we're not even going to go into. That's probably the worst book I read this year.
It is the worst book.
No offense to Lucy Score. I will be trying you again, I promise. But that one, And then my other bottom 3 was Agrippina, the Most Extraordinary Woman of the Roman Empire by Emma Southon. This one
sounds boring.
I love history, so I was like, "Ooh, let me give it a shot." And it's kind of like written very modern, like conversational kind of. So I thought it'd be good, but I barely got into it as an audiobook. It was way too confusing because a lot of historical names have the same names, and so I'm not an audio learner, which is why I struggle with audiobooks. So with having that, it was just too confusing. I had to DNF it. It just was not it for me.
Yeah, that sounds tough. I'm not a big history person in general, so I will not be adding that to my shelf.
No, wouldn't recommend. But my top 3, I'll go from the bottom up. So number 3 was The King of Atolia by Megan Whalen Turner. This is the second book in the Queen's Thief series. This is probably my favorite so far. No, that's the third book, not the second book. Sorry, I misspoke. Third book in the series. So well done. This is one of those that's like a top series for me, where it's technically fantasy, but it's more on like the political side than it is like war and battles kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so well done, so many twists and turns, and I never knew what was coming next, which is huge for me.
I love that for you.
So, and they're really short reads. They're not like long epic fantasies. They're like, 300 plus pages.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So really easy. She fits a lot of action and things in there. Fantastic. My number 2 was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin.
Wow, so cool.
This book just hit me in a great way. I'm not gonna go too much into detail because
we just talked about it for
we did just talk about it in our last book talk, so go check it out if you want my full thoughts. But this was one that just kind of like touched me in a certain way that I'm going to be thinking about for a long time. A lot of great quotes and a lot of good like lessons or things, the nuggets of truth to think about kind of thing.
Yeah, some great reminders.
Yes. And then my top book was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Nothing can top it. So many tears shed. I gasped when we got to the end.
Gosh.
We will be revisiting her books.
Oh, yes. I really think I could make myself cry if I think about it for long enough.
Oh, me too.
Which, it's pretty easy to make myself cry, but... it's so good.
It was so good. It was so moving, so well done. Definitely one of those books that like you think is like overhyped, but like the overhype doesn't even do it justice. Like it's the overhype is underhyped for this book.
Yeah.
So phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And we will definitely be reading one of her books again.
Yes.
In the year.
But I'm glad that we've spaced it out because, well, one, they're very heavy books emotionally, but also like I don't want to finish them too fast because her writing is just
so
solid.
Good. Yes.
Spot on.
Absolutely. So that was a phenomenal one. And those were the top 3 for 2024. But speaking of reading, what defines like a great year of reading to you? Is it like number of books you've read, diversity of genre, memorable stories, or like emotional impact?
Honestly, I think it's just the fact that I get to and have the ability to read and that I am fortunate enough to always have something to read on hand or, that I'm able to go get something to read. I have friends that I could share books with. So I think just the fact that I can seek out books and find them and read them, and it's not hard for me to do. Just being able to have that privilege is probably what makes reading great, as well as having time to read. I think that's another privilege perk that makes reading so great, is being able to sit down and just open a book, because it's such an intentional time, and it's not like watching TV. I can also scroll on my phone. It's very you just have to be in it.
Absolutely.
So I feel like those are a little more vague, but I think that's what makes reading great for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be hitting a number on a goal. The goal actually means nothing to me. It's just the fact that I get to read, and I do like when a story has an emotional impact or is memorable, but also just the fact that I can read.
Right.
I know how to read.
That's so good. That's such a healthy mindset to have about that too. And it is such a privilege to be able to have the ability to read and the time too. Because time is so precious nowadays.
It is.
For me, the gold does matter.
I knew it would. Not in that way. Like,
no, not. It is never the number. Like I could have 10 be the number, but it's specifically for me. Like if I'm setting a goal for myself, I have to at least meet it, if not exceed it.
It's still intentional.
Yes,
and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So I always have to be careful about what goals I set for myself because it will be bad. But truly, what I think defines a good year of reading for me would be emotional impact and memorable stories. I also love diversity of genres, but I think that kind of plays into the impact that they have in the stories that matter the most to me, because those are the ones that I'm thinking about constantly. And so when I have a lot of those stories that have that emotional impact on me throughout the year, then it just like leaves your heart happy and like fulfilled, and you're learning things and you have just like good vibes all around. And so it makes it a better year in that regard.
Yeah.
For me,
I love that. No, I love that. I think that's great. What are some of your favorite bookish gifts that you've received or are on your list for Santa this year? Do you have any good ideas for listeners looking for a last minute gift?
Okay, so one thing that I know kind of goes viral on social media for book people that I think is perfectly hyped is a book embosser. I got this for either Christmas or my birthday from Josh a couple years ago. Phenomenal. I love it so much. It's the little things, but as soon as I get new books or bring them home, it's the first thing I do is I stamp them with the like cute. From Michaela's library, and it just makes me feel like so official, and I love it. So
and then it's truly like your trophy. Like this is no one else's now. Like this is mine.
And like whenever people borrow my books, it's like even more like I own a library because it's stamped. It's from my library. I don't know. It's the little things. It's something about it. It just like makes my heart happy. So I love a good embosser. Also my Kindle. I did become a Kindle girly this year.
That is good.
So that was been fun, and I've been really enjoying my Kindle journey. It will never replace a physical book, but I definitely understand the hype, and I think that if you are able, or if you're on the fence about it, like I don't know, I really like physical books, but you can see like the pros of Kindle. Highly recommend. I really do. It makes it lighter to travel with. You have so many books just like at your fingertips without having to carry so many with you, like when you're traveling. I love the be able to highlight feature because I don't like writing in my books. I know a lot of people do, but for me that's like a thing that I just can't. So I like being able to do that in the Kindle though, and like easier to go back and find those. So Kindle for sure. And then the one thing on my list this year that my entire family made fun of me for, but I'm standing by my heels dug in the ground, is I asked for a barcode scanner.
What does that mean?
I saw this TikTok at the beginning of 2024, and I saved it specifically to ask for Christmas. So I've been sitting on this one for a while. It's literally just like what you see at the stores where they have the little barcode scanner. It's like a little wireless one, but you can scan the barcodes on your books and you can hook it up to, there's like this website online that like categorizes all of your books, like a library system, like a true like library website so I can not only have my embossed for my library, but I can have them categorized too, and like be a true librarian scanning every book after I emboss them to add it to like my little library online, and like to be able to organize them by like author or genre, or like figure out what's next to read. Like it's all just there. Yes, this is on my list.
That is so cute. Is it funny that it's stressing me out thinking about that?
And this is like, why we work.
It's giving me anxiety. But I am so glad that I will be able to come check out a book at Michaela's library.
Thanks.
Because I could not do that.
Santa, if you're listening, I've been really good, I promise. That's so funny. That totally describes us too. The fact that like this is my dream and you're like, this is too much for me.
I'm like, let me know when it's done so I can come, so you can come give me whatever you have, because I can't do it.
That's so funny. But that describes us perfectly. That's why we work.
I agree.
All right, what's on your list, Darby?
Okay, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'm not a huge bookish gift girl. But I do have this book flower vase that I got that I really like. I think I got it for Christmas last year. It's just a clear vase. I just haven't put flowers in it yet. It still just sits on my bookshelf, but it's like cool.
It is cute.
And then Michaela got me a bookmark when she asked me to be a bridesmaid in my bridesmaid proposal, and it's a really cute one. It has like my birth flower in it and a I don't know if this was meant to be, but it matches my birth color, which is like amethyst, so it's all purple, and it's super cute. So I really like that one.
I'm so glad.
Though I'm not into book gifts really, like bookish like merch. Justin got me a personalized stamp, which can be a cute gift idea. I don't actually use it.
That's okay.
I do think an embosser would be cooler than a book stamp. It's so thoughtful. I'm very, very grateful for Justin, but it's just, that's okay. I think a blind date with a book could be really fun, like a really great gift for people, because for me, the best bookish gift is a book. So I'm hoping to get like a Barnes & Noble gift card, or like same thing, blind date with a book would be cool.
It's so nice receiving books from people too, because of like the personal thought that they put. Like, I think you would really enjoy this.
Yeah. I've never had someone like annotate a book and give it to me, but I know that's something that a lot of people like. I don't know if I'd get distracted by the like annotation, but it would be, I don't know, like how
maybe
it could
like
be
notes.
done. Yeah, like a notes, like
with it. So like after you finish reading, you go back and read some.
Or like even like a personal like book club on Fable of like just me and that person with the book, because I don't know, but those are sweet.
Those are good ones. Yeah, I like that. That's a good.
Yeah, they're fun. I just like, I don't know. I have so many things already that for me, and also I'm indecisive, so like I can't be a sticker girl because I can't pick what stickers go on stuff. Like I used to like try, and then I just would never use the stickers. Even Michaela got me super cute like stickers, and they're on like a cork board. Like I'm not gonna put them on anything. Like I can't. It's just I can't commit. I guess. So I like that, but yeah, I don't know. Like the book merch is too hard for me.
I love book merch.
I could do like, I have a hoodie that has like books on it, and that's cool and casual, but I don't know. I wish I could, but
that's okay. To each their own. I totally understand it. It saves the money for it for sure, because Lord knows that I've probably spent a little too much on book merch this year, but I live in like all of my hoodies, especially when I'm like working from home. So I love having all of my like Sarah J. Maas, or like I did Harry Potter, so I got my Gryffindor sweatshirt on while I'm reading Harry Potter. I don't know, or even my stickers, because I do decorate like my water cups with them. Just bring me a little joy when I see them, and like little reminders of like your favorite things that like spark joy.
No, it's so cute. I love it so much. There is this like Fourth Wing shirt that I saw in the TikTok shop that I might go back and get. That looks like cute, because it's like, welcome to what's it called? What's the college's name? It's like welcome to the college. Yeah. Like it like looks cool. So I don't know. Maybe.
It's the little things that spark joy. Because I'm just a merch girly in general. Like it doesn't have to be books. It can be like Disney or Taylor Swift or whatever. Yeah. It's the little things that like spark. You have to find the joy in the little things in life, and that's my one thing that brings me joy in the little things.
I love that. I love that.
But speaking of gifts, do you prefer giving or receiving gifts better? And then do you have a favorite gift that you've given or received?
Yes. So I like giving gifts better. I feel like there's too much pressure with receiving gifts, but pressure from myself. No one is pressuring me to give a certain reaction or feel a certain way.
You want to make the other person feel good.
Yeah, because you know they've thought about it. And also, I do think I might be a little hard to shop for. I used to think I wasn't, but lately I think I'm coming to terms with it.
That's okay.
Hence, like, Justin's super thoughtful, like, stamp book thing. But at the same time, so I think that, like, I'm hard to shop for because I'm particular about things. But then at the same time, like, if you were to... Well, okay, I'll just skip. One of my favorite gifts that I've received, I said, was the massage that you got me. Oh, yeah. So, like, if someone got me a massage gift card for the rest of my life, that would be the best gift every time.
Like, experiences, girly.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I am hard to shop for, or maybe I just haven't found my niche gift.
I don't think it's that you're hard to shop for. I think it's just, like, knowing you and what you like. I think a lot of people, when they think of...
Nobody knows me. I'm so different.
No, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Josh is this way. But I feel like if somebody was to give you like an experience, like the concert tickets, or well, not concert tickets because you're not concert girly, but like a date night to, or like a date night for, or even like a girls' date for like a zip lining date, or to like go to I don't know, like a trip for the weekend somewhere. I feel like you love doing stuff like, or like doing things like pottery classes.
I do love to do stuff.
Like that kind of thing versus, or like the massage, you know, like doing stuff versus like the physical gifts.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Those are good. Yeah.
Not that you don't enjoy those, but like easier to like.
No, I like your thoughts.
Pinpoint it.
I also I have a notes list that I shared with Justin, and I've had it since like almost since we started dating, or maybe like a year into us dating, because he's always been like, I don't know what to get you, and he's also a boy. And I gave him a list. He's never gotten me anything off the list. Justin. And the list literally says things Darby wants, but not enough to buy herself. And there's varying things on there, like from like a slack line to like a snowboard, like, you know, crazy things. So like, he could get me anything on the list, and he never has.
We will be having a talk.
Well, it's just like when he's like, I don't know what to get you. I'm like, there are things on that list that I've forgotten about that would be a true surprise to me. So
I've literally written everything down for you.
I know. He's so funny.
Men.
But sorry, back to gifts. So one of my favorite gifts that I've received is the massage that Michaela got me, and I am grateful for all gifts, and I know I'm definitely blanking on other big gifts that I've gotten. I will say, growing up, my favorite gift that I got as a kid was a trampoline.
Love that.
I used that thing all the time, and the only reason why we got rid of it is because like we didn't have a fenced-in backyard, and one day someone from the insurance company was walking around and saw the backyard, so they said you can either put up a fence or get rid of it. And my parents didn't want to get a fence. But I feel like most people I talk to that had a trampoline growing up are like, I used it in the beginning, that just sat there. No, I used this thing every day. Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was so good. And then favorite gift I've given are concert tickets. One of my like best friends in high school, I got us tickets to Carrie Underwood, which was actually my first concert. And it was just like so fun, and it was so like cute, and it was just us. Like, I don't know, it's a really good memory that I have tied with that gift. And then also one of my first big gifts I got Justin. It was like with my what's it called again when you get like money back from your taxes after your taxes?
Oh, your tax refund?
Yes. I used my tax refund to buy floor tickets to see Khalid with Justin, and that was fun too. Yeah. That was cute.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you?
So this is kind of tough because trying to decide like what I like more, giving or receiving, because I love giving gifts and like putting the thought into it.
Fun.
It's so much fun.
It is really fun.
It's like the big puzzle for me, and like figuring out like the niche and reminding things. And I have a notes app too of like things people mention. I'll like write it down while I'm thinking about it.
Of course you do. Yeah. Michaela is like a top tier gift giver.
Thank you so much.
Like, oh my gosh. We recently had like a dual birthday party with two of our friends, and I was like texting her, and like I like giving gifts. But Michaela's on another level. Like, I was running ideas by her because I was like, she'll know. I was like, she will know. And hers were so good.
Thank you so much. I really pride myself on it. I really try. It's so much fun for me. So I will say I think that's probably my favorite is the giving over the receiving. But receiving is my love language.
Yeah.
So it's just like the little things, like when Josh will bring home like a Snickers bar when he stops for gas kind of thing for me. Or just like it's just the little things of like I thought of you that bring me so much joy. So I do love.
Of course, yeah, those are cute.
I love the little receivings, but I think that giving is so much fun.
It is fun.
My favorite gift that I've given, it's a new tradition that I started last year that I'm continuing this year, is giving personally curated books to my family.
What do you mean?
Like I just finding books for my family that I think that they'll like, but I give it to them all at the same time because they know that at this point that they know that it's coming for this year. Because even my sister made a comment about it. I was like, "You're not supposed to know." They know. So that way they know, like, this is the time I'm giving them books, but it's like each one has a specific book, and I'll stand there and I'll explain to them why I picked out that book for them.
That's so sweet.
And I tried to pick out a book that books that I'll read with them, so that way it's like not only am I giving them a book that's personalized to them that they will like, or that I think that they'll like, but I'm also going to read it so we can talk about it too. Mm-hmm. So that's like my new favorite thing that I've started, and I'm really excited to continue this year.
I love that. That's so sweet.
And then my favorite gifts I received as a kid was the Wii. And similar...
I thought you were going to say the weed. I was like, what?
No, the Nintendo Wii. Sorry. That's so bad. No, Wii, Wii. That was one of those gifts that I think everybody kind of went through this phase.
You're reminding me now. Yeah, my family also, like, the day, it was like all the kids in the family were playing Wii bowling. We were going crazy. That was
the thing.
Yeah.
It was huge. And I feel like everybody had, like, this experience. Or maybe not everybody, but it's popped up on my TikTok a few times here in the Christmas season, where that's what everybody wanted for Christmas was a Wii. And everybody's parents, like, gaslit them and, like, I will never buy you that. What are you talking about? Like, we don't need that in the house. You could break something. You're just going to be annoying, whatever. And then Christmas morning, sure enough, Santa brings a Wii. So you're like, oh my gosh. Like, this was one of those gifts that prolonged my belief in Santa. Like, I was at that age, like, I think it was like 4th grade, where, like, you're really starting to, like, kind of age out of it. But because my mom was such an amazing actress and truly got me to believe that she would never buy me a Wii, and Santa brought a Wii, it prolonged that just a little bit. I'm like, okay, well, maybe actually.
Yeah. So. That's incredible. I don't remember being gaslit, but I also don't remember, like, yearning for a Wii. But I do remember that, like, the morning we got it, it was like everyone, we just played it all day. It was so fun.
That was like one of my friends had one, so I was always playing at her house, and so I was like, I just wanted one so bad, I was begging. So that was definitely like a core memory gift. And then as an adult, similar kind of vibe was my iPad. Josh didn't gaslight me on this one. I just never would have imagined that he'd buy me my iPad.
That's sweet.
So when he did, I was shocked, like so sure. That was one that I did not see coming at all. So yeah, those both were complete shocks and both core memories.
I love that. Those are good. I have a question. Did you ever used to lay out all your gifts and the bags and post it on social media when you were in, like, middle school, or was that just my hometown? Because I have vivid memories of laying out, like, the pink bag, the Hollister bags, and then, like, laying out the clothes I got. And I remember seeing other people, too, like, pictures of, like, their presents, and they're like, thanks, Santa, you know, all that stuff.
It definitely was like a thing. I was never a huge social media girly, so I didn't really participate, but it was definitely not just your hometown. I do remember, like, that being a thing with people posting, like, on their Snapchat stories, like, what they were getting.
I feel like same thing with, like, Easter. People put like, their Easter baskets, which that one's kind of random. Like, Christmas I can see a little bit more. I don't know. It's just really funny. Like, when you look back and think about it, it's like all our 12-year-olds were, like, flexing.
Oh, my gosh. We were ahead of the curve because that was the original haul.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That's the OG hauls.
Yep.
There's probably something more OG than that, but for our age, that's our OG haul.
We started it.
Yeah. Okay. Should we get into more holidays, like traditions? What are your favorite holiday traditions? Like your favorite holiday movies or songs?
So we have a lot of Christmas traditions. Like Christmas is huge in my household. We nickname my mom Mrs. Claus because she goes all out. Always Sweet. A thing. But to just like keep it concise more, a few like the standouts are we always read the night before Christmas in our matching Christmas PJs before bed on Christmas Eve. It's always the thing. Like, we get one present on Christmas Eve, and it's always, like, whatever matching PJs my mom decides. Yeah. And when I say this, like, this has been going on since I was a baby to now being 27 years old. We still do this.
We do matching PJs, too.
Yes.
But ours didn't start until a couple years ago.
Gotcha. No, this has always been, like, my mom's things. We take the pictures, and it's always the surprise of what kind of PJs she gets this year. And then my dad will always read the night before Christmas, before bed. This time, now that we've gotten older, we kind of like turn it into a performance and like take turns and like
popcorn maybe?
kind of or like act out a little bit, do the voices or whatever, make it fun. But yes, so that's one. And then the next day we do absolutely nothing. We open presents, we stay in our Christmas PJs all day, because we'll typically do mass on Christmas Eve. So then Christmas Day we're just under PJs all day. We do super easy, make your own pizzas for dinner, so nobody's stressed in the kitchen. We're just having a good time playing games all together.
That's sweet. Do you guys do like a fancy dinner on Christmas Eve or just no fancy dinners?
It depends. It's less of a tradition. My mom used to try. My mom fought tooth and nail to try to keep the fancy meals, but for the rest of my family, we always had Thanksgiving as like the really nice meal. So we're like, don't put that pressure on yourself. We'd rather spend that time like together playing a game or watching a movie than like you spending half the day in the kitchen preparing this meal. Yeah. Like, let's just keep it easy. We just did that for Thanksgiving.
I love that.
Thanks.
I'm going to steal it.
Yes.
I might.
It does. It makes it so much nicer and just like less stress about it. And then we'll save the nice meals for Easter and for Thanksgiving. But rapid fire, favorite movie is The Santa Claus. Josh and my family can attest.
I loved that one.
I know this movie backwards, forward, inside out, like the back of my hand. I quote it as we're watching it, and I annoy the crap out of my family. Love the movie. Also a tradition that we watch it every year on Christmas Eve.
That's my family's like core holiday movie too,
Yes. So good. Favorite songs, White Christmas, specifically the like more upbeat one that's like in Home Alone, the that specific version. Carol of the Bells, any version, I just love. Pleasing to the ear. And Mary Did You Know, the Pentatonics version.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So good.
Yeah, that like scratches something on your brain, that one.
It just like moves me every year when I listen to it. Ugh, resonates.
Those are good.
What about you?
For me, some traditions, things that I loved growing up, reading by the Christmas tree with like its perfect smell. So growing up, my family always did real trees. So I have such fun memories of just like the Christmas smell and like the OG lights and just reading by the Christmas tree, which is funny now because I love reading still. And then now we have a fake tree. Because my parents are getting older, so it's just easier, which is fine, but it is different. Right. So I love that growing up. We used to go to IHOP every Christmas Eve with my family, which we don't do that anymore because we don't really have an IHOP by us. But still, that was like a fun tradition growing up. With Justin, we get a new ornament each year, and we put a picture of ourselves in it, normally from like the Christmas date or something like that. So that'll be fun, and I'm excited for 1 year when it's just all our faces over the Christmas tree.
That's so
but of like varying ages.
It's like memories as you're putting them up and like going back and thinking about those days.
And I don't know about you, but I'm someone who like writes on the back of the ornaments. So like my mom got me last year, she got me like a wedding cake ornament. So I wrote on the bottom of it like mom gave after bridal shower with the date. And then so like one of the ornaments, like the ornaments I have with Justin, typically I've written like went to ice with Justin. The theme was the Grinch, like something little.
That's so cute. To help you remember.
Yeah, and then so Justin's aunt and uncle just got us a Christmas ornament because it's our first Christmas as a married couple. And I wrote on the back like Aunt Jen and Uncle Jason got you this ornament. And so I really like doing that too with my ornaments because we're definitely not like an aesthetic tree. We're like the memory type tree. So I love doing that.
That's so cute. We do something similar in my family. Not the faces, but like each year growing up, we would get an ornament that like represented that year kind of thing, whatever it was like an interest or something that you did. And so my sister and I would always pick them out, and I'm continuing that with Josh. So like this year, I got a snitch because Harry Potter was like the big thing for me this year, and he got a snowflake made of planes because he's been traveling a lot this year. So we do something like kind of similar, but I like how you put the memory on the back. That's really smart. I might steal that.
Do steal it, please. I love it. Okay, for movies, I really do love the Santa Claus movies. But also there's so many good ones. So The Grinch was also a really big one in my house. I
Animated or live action?
The live action.
Okay, yeah.
Jim Carrey also holds a special place in my heart.
Nice.
He's on my Hear Me Out cake. He was like my first crush as a kid, so I just love him. I think just because he was funny. Home Alone, that's a good one. I really like that one too. Although when I was a kid, it used to like scare me a little, but now I'm just like, it's so quirky and funny. And then recently, and by recent, I mean last night, Justin and I watched that new movie, Red One.
Did you like it?
Yes. Did you watch it?
No, but I saw it and it was one of those that was so kind of ridiculous that it intrigued me and I really want to watch it.
No, I really liked it. They had great actors in it. So it was like The Rock, Chris Evans. I think it's Kiernan I'm totally butchering her name. The girl from
Charlie's Angels, right? Isn't she?
No. So Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the like new version. I think that one was her. Or there's another girl that looks just like her. I don't know, but it was really good, and it was different. Yeah. Like I don't want to spoil anything, but there were just like little moments that were like, it was like smart the way they like rationalized in that world, like the different Christmas reasons for things happening. So I really enjoyed it, and I hope they make like a sequel for it because I would watch it.
Ooh, so adding to the list.
Please watch it. And then for songs, this is like a really sad one, but Christmas shoes. Do you know?
Oh, I saw. I that's one of those so good that I cannot listen to it because I stop every time.
Every time when the kids start singing. Yes. But yeah, so I like that one because it's like it's an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, that one's a good one.
Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, that's okay. And then very different, Drummer Boy by Justin Bieber. I love that one.
I love that.
So the two spectrums, but as soon as I hear that Justin Bieber song, that gets me going.
Yes. I love that.
So those are good Christmas songs.
Those are good ones.
All right, cozy season. How do you like to curl up with your current read? Are you able to read anywhere and everywhere? Do you have a specific setup that you like? What would your ideal setup be like?
So I definitely am a setup cozy girl. Like I can read, especially with the Kindle, like is kind of made me branch out a little bit more and like just bring it with me and like read on the go. But also you
have a Kindle setup.
But I do have a Kindle. I am a setup. Like I like get nice and cozy. We have it going now. The fireplace on YouTube that runs for like 8 hours. I have either the Kindle arm or my little book and the cozy lighting and a nice soft blanket, a candle lit, and the ambiance music. I like to do different types of music depending on the book vibe that I'm reading. So I try to do more like fantasy vibes.
Okay, sometimes I'll do that too.
Or like romance, like violins, or like just a chill lo-fi.
Have you ever looked up, so when I was reading Carnival, I looked up Carnival music, because it's like a carnival, and it had like good music. Obviously really? Not like a full-on carnival, because it's different than Anyway, but I like sometimes looking up the book and then looking up like playlist or music.
Smart. I haven't thought to do that, but I will now. I did do like the Harry Potter music soundtracks while I was reading those.
Yeah.
It just helps set the vibe. I like the cozy setup. Ideally in the future, same thing, but I want a real fireplace and a really big comfy chair in a library. We talk about this all the time. We're going to have our own personal libraries at some point. And so that would be like just like taking it to the next level for me.
Yeah.
But what about you?
I definitely can read anywhere. And sometimes I like to read in nature, you know, like that's, if I were to read outside of the home, it's like I want to read in the grass or on my Eno, something like that. Eno, I don't know how you say that. The little hammocks that you tie on the trees. But if I'm trying to make a cozy space at home, typically very similar. I'll light a candle. I'll put on like a background on the TV, or a lot of times I'll do, it's like the 8-hour jazz music, and then it has like a virtual setting. So that's a big one for me in fall, since we don't get a fall season. I love doing like a fall background and pretending that I'm in this fall coffee shop with all the orange leaves. Oh, I cry thinking about how I don't have that. It does. And then I'll just like cuddle up on the couch with a blanket. And so that would be my like cozy at home setup. Ideally, if I had like I guess, like, perfect. Well, there's no perfect. Really, as long as I have the book, that's perfect.
Mhm.
But a cool setup would be to have, like, one of those benches or couches that's, like, kind of, like, built into the wall, that has a big window right next to it.
Yes.
So you get all that natural light. And obviously it would be in a library as well. Of course, with a ladder,
Yes.
the rolling ladder.
Our bell dreams.
Yeah, seriously.
Love that.
I think that would be good. But do you know what I'm talking about? Like the walls where then it like goes in and there's like a little
it's
bench
like
there.
What's the word?
It's like a little
for it?
nook. Like
It's like a day bed kind of
Kind
bench
of.
thing. I know what you're talking about. There's like a specific word for it, but yes.
Yeah, like I think that would be fun. But I wouldn't like some of them don't look comfortable. Like I'd obviously want one that's like more couch
Yes.
feeling. Yeah, that'd be good.
Love that. Okay, so kind of fun questions moving forward.
They're all fun questions.
They are all fun questions, but these make us think creatively.
Yes.
If you were a writer for the Hallmark Channel, what would the plot of your next literary themed holiday hit be?
Okay, I've never really gotten into Hallmark, which is funny because I am definitely a person. My grandma always used to say this, may she rest in peace, but she would always say, I like happy shows. I like happy endings. And I'm very similar. Like, I like happy endings. Like, I don't want to have to put, like, you know, scary things on the mind if I don't have to.
Sure.
But for some reason, I've never really gone into Hallmark. Anyway, all that to say, I think I would have a, like, in the movie, it would be a writer, and she is like writing a fantasy novel, and then she like falls into the fantasy novel that she was writing.
Ooh.
Where like in this novel they celebrate Christmas, kind of like an ACOTAR, how they have that, and obviously like the dark haired bad boy, closeted good boy would be showing her the real Christmas magic.
I love that.
And obviously there would be more stuff. And I think that she would have to, there would be a problem in the fantasy world that she would have to like help them solve. And it would have to do with something like winter solstice, someone stealing some type of magic that helps them or something along those lines. But then it would finish at the end. She would wake up and see that her whole novel has been like written. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, forget Hallmark. Get this in theaters now. I want to watch
So
it.
I don't know how Hallmark it is, but when you said like literary themed holiday hit, that's just what came to mind.
Love that.
Thank
I need to
you.
watch it as soon as possible.
Or someone write it. That too.
Yes. But Darby gets credit.
But please put me on. Let me star in it. Let me.
Yes, that'd be so fun.
What about you? Give it to me.
So I'm also not like a huge Hallmark girly. I watch them with my mom a lot growing up because my mom's a huge Hallmark person.
But when you have stuff like the Santa Claus movies,
Yeah.
you can't top that.
No, it's too predictable for me. It's the
Yeah.
same thing with books. Like I get the appeal for sure, and like my dad and I have fun like making fun of them or like what plot point is it gonna be this time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't put it on by myself. But if I was gonna write one, it would do it like, have you heard of Mrs. Miracle?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know if this is Hallmark or not, but it's definitely Hallmark vibes where it's like, I forget if she's like truly Mrs. Claus or if it's like guardian angel, but it's like
Okay.
this old woman who basically comes into like the main character's life and like helps in like certain ways, like set them up, uses a bit of magic or like kind of like meddles in the life to like
Yeah.
make things all turn out okay. So I'd go Mrs. Miracle style and have Mrs. Claus own a bookstore in like a small Hallmark Christmas town. But she gets involved trying to set up people in the town who visit the library based on their like taste in books.
Cute.
So it's like matchmaker, book, like library, Mrs. Claus kind of thing.
It kind of reminds me of the movies like Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve, you know, where there's like 20 different like
Yeah.
plots going on, or like, you know,
And they
the
all, like,
character stories, but they intertwine. That's the vibe it's giving
Yes.
me. And I love that because I love
Yes.
those movies.
Yes. So that would be mine. That's the vibe.
That would be so good. I really like that. Okay, someone please write and create our stories, bring them to life, and then give us credit and like,
Give us royalties.
Yeah.
And it's all yours.
yeah. Okay, speaking of Hallmark, I saw this thing in Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
So setting the scene. And it was like a banner or poster that was like, you could have a chance to guest star in a Hallmark movie. And I
No
was like,
way.
this is so funny that like trying to be in a Hallmark movies and Cracker Barrel, because they really are like the same thing.
I would have never put that together, but as you say it makes so much sense.
Yeah, it was like a sweepstakes, and I was like, this is just so funny.
That definitely checks.
And I was like, should I apply?
Yes.
Just kidding.
That's so funny. Okay, so continuing on like North Pole library vibes, what kind of books do you think the residents of the North Pole would check out from their library? Like what's on Santa's TBR, Mrs. Claus, the elves, reindeer, what we got going?
These all came to me really quickly. So these are like first thoughts that came to mind when I thought of it. So Santa, he's all about self-help and the psychology of people and kids, why they want what they want, why they act the ways that they do, what makes them naughty and nice.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you. So that's what Santa's reading for me. Mrs. Claus, she's obviously reading some baking books, like baking recipe books, or also like a Hallmark romance style book, something really light with a happy ending. The elves, they vary, but they do have a monthly book club on a children's book to like stay hip.
Love.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
And then that way they can come out with like merch based off of and
So
toys
smart.
based off of the kids' books, the next Bluey stuffed animal. Like
I love that.
and then the reindeers, at first I was like, they are not reading, they're just snacking. But then I thought if they were reading, it would be like sports book to elevate their game and like their flying game. Because I picture them like kind of
take it serious.
Yeah, I kind of picture them like bros. Like I picture the reindeers as like frat bros. So I'm thinking they all want to be the best. They want to be the front of the sleigh, like riding, or like being like the coolest.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank you. So they're for sure reading sports books.
Oh, those are all so good. We can skip mine. That's fine.
No, tell me what yours are reading.
No, those are so good. I love that. That makes so much sense too. Mine, I struggled with more because I don't have as much of that creativeness as you do. Where it just comes to
you have so much creativeness, Michaela.
Thank you. I don't know. It took me a while, but we got there. So this is what I came up with. I feel like Santa, after a long Christmas Eve night, is kicking his feet up and getting lost in like an epic fantasy kind of book, like Brandon Sanderson type books, where it's just like the really deep dive.
Sense. Yeah,
just escape from it all for a little while. Mrs. Claus, I feel like I can peg her as a Sarah J. Maas girly.
Okay.
I think that she'd be like in bed reading while Santa's out doing his job, waiting for him to come back and like giggling, kicking her feet with the rest of us when like the Bat Boys come around.
Yeah.
The elves, I feel like, are definitely listening to audiobooks while they're making toys.
Ooh, good. That's good.
And I think that they'd be like into some mysteries and thrillers and like help keep their mind sharp, trying to put together like the plot twists that are coming, which also like kind of ties into them figuring out how to build like a Barbie dream house for kids, like
smart.
gotta keep the mind
that's
sharp.
Creative.
Thanks, I'm trying. And then the reindeer, similar thought to you, but I said sports romance books because I feel like
yours are in a sorority, mine are in a fraternity.
Yes. Because I feel like they love their reindeer games, but they're like cute, fluffy, lovey animals that just have like soft, gushy hearts too.
I love
sports
that.
Romance.
Those were just as creative.
Thanks.
I love those. I feel like if you mushed ours together, that's like the perfect.
Yes.
Like that's good. That was great.
So fun. All right, but what about like books that we're reading now? Let's get into borrows and returns.
Borrows and returns. It's that time. Okay, since we last talked, I've read a lot. So my returns, I'm gonna go star order of like least to best.
Okay.
So my 3 stars that I read were Powerful by Lauren Roberts and Daydream by Hannah Grace, which I feel like Powerful, if I had written it as a book or paperback instead of audio, it would have gone higher, but it just like didn't hit the same for me. But also that one is like
a novella, right?
It's a novella, and it's not like a prequel, but it's giving the same energy as Assassin's Blade.
Oh, okay.
And I do not have the same connection to Sam as many people do. And well, I definitely read that in the wrong order, so that attributes to it.
Yeah.
But same with like Powerful. There's like a death in it that I don't know, it just like didn't hit. Whereas like I know some people in their reviews were like sobbing. So anyway, those are my 3 stars.
Okay.
For my 4 stars, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. solid good romance book. And then Light Lark by Alex Astor. I can see why it was really popular. It was a good book.
That's on my physical TPR right now too.
Yeah. And then Finale by Stephanie Garber was my 5 stars. This was the ending to the Carnival series, and I loved this one.
Yay!
It was such a cool like setting, again, because we love like romantasy books and just fantasy books, but sometimes, you know, they're popular for a reason, but they kind of have the same vibe, and so this book just felt a little different. While still, but while still having like the same things that you really want from that like fantasy like trilogy, but just the world felt very different and unique. So I really liked that.
I'm so glad that ended well for you.
Oh, it did. And there's a spin-off series that I will be starting very soon. But so that was 5 stars. And then Borrows, I'm currently reading Nightbane by Alex Astor. So that's the second book in the Light Lark series. And it's going good right now. But I think I like almost like tired myself out from reading, because I went hard in the paint during Thanksgiving. So I didn't read it all last week. But I think maybe I'll read when I get home or tomorrow, hop back into it.
Take a little breath.
Yeah. But it's going good. I enjoy it as well. Those are my borrows and returns. Hit me with yours.
Oh, before we get to mine, what about your reading goal for 2024?
Oh, my reading goal for 2024, thank you for reminding me. I think I had it set at, it was set at 20, and I have hit 40.
Yay!
Crazy.
Wow.
And again, last year, like I said, I read like 24 books or 22, something like that. So I've like
crushing
almost
it.
Doubled it.
So proud of you.
I'm so confused how I did that. I don't know. It doesn't compute because that's so many books.
Yeah.
But what about you?
So my returns, I did finish the Harry Potter series.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. I did do it before the end of the year. However, I'm kind of upset with how it ended.
Oh.
I loved it up until the 5th book. If I could like
remind me how many books are in the series.
There's 7.
Okay.
So 6 and 7 is really where the series took a turn for me. I loved it up until like completely like understand the hype. Obsessed really up through book 5. Book 6 is where it took a turn for me. That's Half-Blood Prince. I gave it 3.75 stars, which I think is still a little generous. That one, the 5th book was frustrating in the sense of character development, because you're getting really frustrated with the characters and like what they're doing. You're just like shaking, yelling at them, like, what are you doing?
It's kind of like when a TV series goes on for too long and it's like you don't know what else to do with the characters.
But it's like the 5th book, it was like in a good way because there was resolution. Like they learned from it. It truly did develop the characters. I feel like to use as a springboard for what should have been the 6th and 7th books. However, J.K. Rowling did not deliver for me in that regard, because the 6th book and the 7th book, they were just so frustrating, and I feel like the characters really regressed back at that point. They're going through a lot of like similar problems and things that they already like learned from, so they should have been able to handle like differently. But they handled worse than the first time, and I felt like the story kind of dragged on, and so that was just like, and I feel like especially in the 7th book, she kind of like introduced big things and then just glossed over it to move on to other big things. Like never really finished a thought. So it's just really frustrating and kind of like a lackluster end to the series for me.
Oh, which was bummer.
Yeah, frustrating. But I did love it up until the 6th book.
It's like you almost like the almost ending better than the actual ending.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I felt with yours truly. That's why I didn't get 5 stars, because they had like where it basically ended, but then for some reason they added on like an extra part that I was like,
unnecessary.
You don't need it.
Yeah. So I'm not even mad about like, I think like story wise, like how it ended made sense, and like the actual plot points itself were fine. It's just like how it was written could have been way better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was like kind of frustrating, but I did finish it. Oh, and the Harry Potter Deathly Hallows, which is the 7th book, I rated a 3.5 stars. So, and then my friend Madison and our friend Madison, we are watching Harry Potter series now that I've finished them. So we just got through the 2nd movie, and I'm enjoying like doing the whole thing.
Yeah, the parallel.
Yeah.
More insight. That's so fun.
Yeah, so that's been good. Borrows, I started Wretched by Emily McIntyre, which is part of the Never After series she has going on, where, like, you know, villains get the happy ending, but it's very contemporary kind of romance. But what I love about these is they're just quick, easy reads with good romance, but the details that she adds and picks from the stories that she's retelling. So, like, this one is Wicked, or like The Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
so I just
fitting for the time.
Yeah, right? It just so happened that's going to be the next one. So I just love finding the little Easter eggs throughout. That's what makes these, like, really captivating for me compared to, like, other kind of romance books. So enjoying that. And I also started the book that Abby gave me called ADHD for Smart Ass Women by Tracy Otsuka. It's just kind of like a nonfiction kind of self-help book to, like, help identify characteristics for women, specifically for women with ADHD, and, like, how give you strategies and, like, how to, like, move forward with it, or, like, best, like, live your best life with it.
My Santa would be proud of you.
Thanks.
The one that's reading the self-help books in psychology.
So yeah, that's been good, and that was, like, sweet that she, like, thought of me because I was struggling with that for a little bit. So she's, like, thought of me and buy me this book. So
Cute.
Reading that, taking that in, and
Thanks,
that's been
Abby.
interesting. So yeah, and then my reading goal, I said it for 35 technically, but I did cheat and realized halfway through the year there's no way I'm getting the 35. So I marked it down to 30. Still challenging, but I took off a few, and I did get it to 31.
Let's go, girl.
So we just made the goal.
That's awesome. And December's not over yet. Who knows
not.
what we'll do by the end of the year.
Yep. I doubt I'll get the 35, but I might get to 34. 34.
Hey, pick up some Dr. Seuss books. You'll get to 35.
True. So yeah, and that's my...
That's awesome. So, again, reading goals, we aren't defined by the number, but it is crazy when you look at other people's numbers sometimes.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
The people that get into the hundreds, I don't understand. Like,
at that point, how are you, like, absorbing what you're reading?
And you have to be reading, like, every day and doing audiobooks at, like, 3 times speed.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, more power to you, because there are so many books in the world that I want to read. And I know
absolutely.
I won't get through them all in my lifetime, but that's insane.
I wish that I could.
Well, even, like, 40, I'm like, that's
a lot.
Like, how did I even read that? Like,
yeah.
How do I remember them?
You keep it up, you might get to those hundreds.
No way. If I get to those hundreds, I think someone needs to sit me down and be like, Darby, you need to do the dishes or something. That means I'm neglecting everything else in life.
That's so funny. I don't know how people do it. I think I'm just, as much as you like to say I'm a fast reader, I'm really not. Like, it takes time for me to, like, process what I'm reading. So the fact of trying to get through that many books in a year, just like, oh, more power to you. Amazing. I wish I could, but my brain can't function that way.
Yeah, it's difficult. But we are proud of you if you read 1 book, if you read 200 books, if you didn't read any books.
Yeah.
We are proud of you, and we hope that you have had a great 2024 year. We hope you have the happiest of holidays, and know that we are so grateful for you.
And thanks for joining us on our first year journeying through the podcast world. We really appreciate you joining us, and join us on Fable, the Lazy Girl Library. Check us out on Instagram at Lazy Girl Library, or send us a note on our website, lazygirllibrary.com.
Yeah, we're so excited. We have fun things planned in store for next year, and you'll hear more about it in our next episode. But again, happy holidays and happy new year.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Well, dear listeners, we find ourselves at the end of another episode. And remember, the Lazy Girl Library is not just a podcast, it's a community. We absolutely love hearing from fellow book lovers, so don't forget to share your thoughts and your favorite reads with us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram at Lazy Girl Library. Make sure to check out our website, lazygirllibrary.com, your one-stop shop for all things Lazy Girl. Before we go, we want to take a moment to thank all of our wonderful listeners. Whether you're listening from your cozy bed, on your way to work, or anywhere in between, thank you for making us a part of your day and for being a part of our Lazy Girl family. So keep those pages turning, keep those imaginations flourishing, and remember, the best stories are yet to be discovered. Until next time, stay lazy and happy reading.